Councilman Sabol.
Present.
Councilman Spurlock.
Here.
Councilman DeFlippo.
Here.
Councilwoman Marker.
Here.
Councilman Strider.
Here.
Councilman Lilly.
Here.
Councilman Reimer.
Here.
Councilwoman Walker.
Here.
Mayor Mullins.
Here.
Yes,
Y'all please stand. Councilman Ryder, give us a word of prayer, please.
Dear Father, we thank you for this time together here this evening. We thank you, dear God, for each one that's here. Thank you for our city, dear God, and for all the good things that's going on. Be with us tonight in our meeting. Be with everything said and done. These things we ask in your name.
Thank you, council. Please remain standing. Pledge allegiance, Margie.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Margie. Need a motion to approve the minutes of the previous meeting, please. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, motion passes. City's monthly financial statement, Councilman Sabol.
Make a motion to accept as presented for filing.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Spurlock. Any discussion on this one? All in favor, signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes. Petitions, communications, and public hearings. If you read the title, please, Margie.
An ordinance to update the traffic code of the municipal code of the city of South Charleston, including additions and amendments thereto, and to approve and adopt current replacement pages to the municipal code.
Is there a motion to adopt?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Lilly. Any discussion on this? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Robots can deliver now.
Yep.
Right? Okay. Item B, if you read the title, please, Margie.
An ordinance to update the general offenses code of the municipal code of the city of South Charleston, and to approve and adopt current replacement pages to the municipal code.
Is there a motion to adopt?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman, who was it, Jamie? Sabol, Councilman Sabol. Any discussion on this one? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you.
No more having to put liquor in brown bags.
Yeah, yeah. Item C, if you'd read the title, please, Margie.
I'm going to read this title, but should I also say and to include amendment on
Well,
that?
someone can make a motion to amend.
Okay. This is an ordinance to amend section 105.06 of Article 105 of the city code, the city of South Charleston concerning ward boundaries.
Okay, is there a motion to approve?
So
I'm
moved.
sorry. There is an amendment, a small amendment, if I'm not mistaken, in the language, right, Rick?
That's correct. And
So we
someone needs to make a motion to,
We need to make a motion to,
and it's there on your script.
That's this one.
it's just a real small
You
thing.
need to read the whole thing, or how do you?
No, you can just make.
Just have a motion to accept the amendment.
Accept the
Okay, I make
amendment.
a motion to move to amend the ordinance entitled, an ordinance to amend section 105.06 of Article 105 of the city code of the city of South
Is
Charleston.
there a second to the amendment?
Second.
Second by Councilman Flippo. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, motion passes. Now is there a motion to pass as amended?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilwoman Walker. Everybody's seen the map, we've all discussed it, everybody good? Any questions or comments? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you all. And thank you, Thornton, for your work on this, we appreciate it. I know the salary wasn't great, but you worked on it, I appreciate it. So thank you. Item D, if you'd read the title, please, Margie.
Okay, this is an ordinance to accept the dedication of roads and streets to the city of South Charleston from South Point Subdivision Homeowners Association Incorporated.
Is there a motion to pass to second reading, please?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Council. By Laura. Okay, any other discussion on this one?
Mayor, I can just give you a brief
Yeah,
update.
go ahead, Michael.
We have most of the signatures we need to go back to the DOH for the abandonment of the right-of-way on the roads, and then I think we've got maybe one more signature addressing the transfer to the sanitary board. So I'm hopeful that we can get all this wrapped up within mid-December, something to that effect, but we'll keep everybody posted.
Okay. Everybody's aware, this is that last place we annexed, right? Okay. Okay. Anything else, Michael?
No.
Any other questions or comments? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you all. Consideration of any bids, Councilman Cybold.
Yes, sir. The first motion to accept change order for kitchen equipment for fire station number 5. The Finance Committee of the South Charleston City Council has met and considered the following bid, which was obtained in accordance with provisions of the Charter, City Code, and purchasing policies of the City of South Charleston. After careful consideration, the Finance Committee recommends the following bid be awarded to WebStrongStore.com, various kitchen equipment, $13,407.20. These items are within the budget for this project, and the funds are available from the fire department building line item fiscal year 2023. This is a motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Spurlock. Any discussion on this one? Roll call vote, please, Marcy.
Councilman Cybold?
Yes.
Councilman Spurlock?
Yes.
Councilman DeFilippo?
Yes.
Councilwoman Marker?
Yes.
Councilman Stryder?
Yes.
Councilman Lilly?
Yes.
Councilman Reimer?
Yes.
Councilwoman Walker?
Yes.
And Mayor Mullins?
Yes.
That's a unanimous vote.
Thank you. Anything else, Councilman?
Next is making a motion.
Do we have the Palma floor?
Yes, come
It's
on.
Okay.
okay.
Okay, I'm sorry.
You're all right.
Easy, easy. I know you're still wound up.
It's been one of those nights.
I apologize already, guys. I'm sorry. Deep
You
breath.
also
Deep breath.
maybe quit talking.
I know. Yeah, give me
You
one
still have
minute
something to say.
He's still rattled. Anything else? Rick? That's all right. Anything else?
No, I'm just like, oh, I hope I put that on.
You did.
All right.
Okay.
I'd like to carry on the motion to accept change order. This is for change order number 7 for fire station number 5. The project architect and city engineer have reviewed the change order and supporting documentation received from Person and Associates, which were sought in accordance with the applicable provisions of the approved contract for the fire station number 5 project. And after careful consideration, it is the recommendation of the project architect, Williamson Shriver, to the City Council Finance Committee to approve the following change order to Palma Incorporated for additional floor covering in the amount of $21,840.00. All items are within the architect's estimate for this project, and the funds are available from the fire department line item and fiscal year 23 funds.
Is that a motion, sir?
It's a motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman DeFilippo. Any discussion on this? Roll call vote, please, Marcy.
Councilman Cybold?
Yes.
Councilman Spurlock?
Yes.
Councilman DeFilippo?
Yes.
Councilwoman Marker?
Yes.
Councilman Stryder?
Yes.
Councilman Lilly?
Yes.
Councilman Reimer?
Yes.
Councilwoman Walker?
Yes.
And Mayor Mullins?
Yes.
That is
Thank
unanimous.
you. Anything else, Councilman?
One more, yes, sir. This is a
Okay.
motion to accept the bid to Green Roller, for a green roller for the Little Creek Golf Course. The Finance Committee of the South Charleston City Council has met and considered the following bids, which was obtained in accordance with provisions of the Charter, City Code, and purchasing policies of the City of South Charleston. After careful consideration, the Finance Committee recommends the following bid be awarded to MI Turf Equipment, 2019 Sosco Roll and Go in the amount of $11,150.00. All items are within the budget amounts for these purchases and will be paid from fiscal year 2023 golf course equipment line items. So motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilwoman Walker. Any discussion on this one? Roll call vote, please, Marcy.
Councilman Cybold?
Yes.
Councilman Spurlock?
Yes.
Councilman DeFilippo?
Yes.
Councilwoman Marker? Councilman Stryder?
Yes.
Councilman Lilly?
Yes.
Councilman Reimer?
Yes.
Councilwoman Walker?
Yes.
And Mayor Mullins?
Yes.
That is unanimous
Thank you,
vote.
Marcy. Councilman, anything else?
That's all I have to say.
Okay, thank you, sir. Report of department heads. Anybody got anything? Department heads? Anybody? Questions or comments from council department heads?
Nothing?
I'll tell you what.
We got nothing?
Must be the holiday season.
I'm going to be annoying, sorry. So, what are we doing about the Airbnb issue? Do we have a, kind of an update on that with, as far as what to do about the,
You talking about in general or the one on Echo Road?
well, the one on Echo Road in particular and the ones citywide in general?
Well, first of all, I don't know that it's a problem, so I'll start by saying that.
Okay.
Now, I can tell you about the one on Echo Road. Okay, there was a problem there. We tracked down the owner. It's not who the courthouse or land division has. It's Charles Rashid is a part owner. It's a partnership. There's one of the McDavids is a partner in it. They had rented it out to people, went on the Hatfield-McCoy's Trail. Apparently they brought their trucks and their four-wheelers in, got mud all over the place, got drunk, had a party in the front yard, and made a lot of noise, made a nuisance of themselves. I don't know that the police were ever called on it or anything, but the neighbors complained. And I talked to Charles, and I'll tell you what I told him. I told the mayor the other day exactly what I told him. He confirmed that he owned it. And I said, Charles, we've had this conversation. We were going to really regulate Airbnbs, but we decided, the mayor and Rick and I decided that we really don't like government overreach. And so we decided not to. I said, Charles, do you understand why you have government overreach? It's when people don't do what they're supposed to do. So I suggest that you do what you're supposed to do and vet out who rents that place and don't allow this to happen. Put anti-drinking, anti-partying clauses in your lease. Make it 10 o'clock quiet hour, and don't make a nuisance out of yourself. So that's the
Now,
status. That's where we left it.
Let me add something to that, and Steve, I don't know if anyway, let me say what I'm gonna say first, and then we'll go from there. I have been adamant with staff on our discussions with this, that Airbnbs are a business.
Yeah.
They are not permitted in R2, R4As, and R4. We've had that discussion,
We've
right?
had that, yeah.
They are not permitted there. People don't buy homes in those neighborhoods expecting to have a business in their neighborhood. So that, I don't know what part of Thousand Oaks we're talking about, but it would have, where's it at to where, why would it be allowed, period? It's not, if it's in the Thousand Oaks, it's the R4A, correct?
Well, it just appeared. Nobody asked for it. Nobody asked permission. It just.
Yeah, but my comment back to Charles would be, you can't do it here. There are other places in the city you can do it, but you can't do it here, and this is an R4A zone. It doesn't belong in Thousand Oaks, right? Am I not right about that? We've had that discussion.
We would have to draw the line at tourist homes as being in an R8 and an R10. We never positively did that. Decided that's how we were going to approach it. We could, but we didn't.
Seems to be what the code says, is that that's where they're allowed.
That's why I kind of tend to agree with that. We need to make action. We need to do that. I am adamantly opposed to having these. I'm not opposed to having Airbnb in our city, but I'm opposed to having them in our R4A, R4, and R2s in particular. If you want to discuss other zones that we could be permitted, that's fine. We can discuss that.
The most noticeable one in my ward is on the corner of Forest and Tremont. And they actually did a great job fixing up the house, and it hasn't been an issue. But the neighbors were concerned when she was out telling everybody she was going to do Airbnb. Mm-hmm. And so far, it has not been a problem. They've got long-term people in there. I think they're working with a company in town, and it's just kind of like a long-term lease. But it's interesting that Adam brought this up, because today we happen to be on the Airbnb site at work, and using Shawnee as the center point and going out towards St. Albans and back around, there's 189 Airbnb on the Airbnb site, 189 Airbnbs in the South Charleston, Dunbar, St. Albans area. That is not including Charleston. On this side of the river, there's 189 Airbnbs within our marketing footprint, if you will.
Well, I thought that and again, we've talked about this as a staff on more than one occasion, and I thought we were all on the same page that those particular zones, we were not going to permit it. And if someone wanted to challenge us on it, then challenge us. Let's go. But we feel like those particular zones are off limits to any type of business like that. And so that's my stance on it. And if we need to present some kind of legislation, we can talk about that to do that. But I thought that we were all comfortable with the fact that we were not going to permit them in those zones. And we can't, and let me just say this too, Jamie, and I don't mean this is what you meant, but we can't regulate based on individual scenarios.
Yeah.
We have to have a game plan in place in general overall, and be fair and consistent across the board how we're going to do it.
That was going to be my point, like with Adams. If you got short-term people, they come in, do their thing, and leave. They don't have any ownership in it.
But I don't think the term would matter, Jamie. I mean, if if it's in the ordinance, it's just you can't have it.
Well, that's what I mean. If you've got that same house and
in model ordinances for the regulated Airbnb, it is, if you have a lease more than a month,
Okay.
then it is not a short-term, it's not called Airbnb, it's called short-term rentals.
Okay.
It's short-term rentals, and it's less than 30 days. And there was one in our neighborhood, Gerald.
So those are different.
And I didn't know it was until we looked, but I kept on, I see a high license plate there, a truck. And I thought, well, you know, he must work out of town, because he must be here, and that's what he was. I mean, it was sort of a long-term lease. He was working here, lived in Ohio, and he'd be here in the week. And then he'd go home. And he'd be back on Monday night, and, you know, he wasn't ever there on the weekends. But that's not necessarily a short-term rental, because it's more of a month-to-month. Because you can rent property in any
Yeah.
district. Tourist homes are 8, they're permitted in 8 and 10.
Right, just 8 and 10's on.
Now, it could be argued that, like you say, is 6, which Forest Circle is 6. Do you want them in 6 or not?
Well,
But, you know,
I think here's what I'll do, folks. I'll get back with Michael and Rick and Steve, and Jerry. We'll all sit down and we'll talk about this again and see if we need to introduce some legislation and report back to y'all next meeting what to do. But as we sit here today, I'm saying to my staff, no Airbnbs in R4, R2, and R4A, none. And if they want to challenge us on it, that's fine. We can address it as a council if we need to do more legislation. But from an administrative standpoint, I'm saying to my staff, we're not approving those. And if they want to do them, we're not giving you a license to do that.
now, one other thing that we have done, which, you know, is one of those things that it'll help us have because they're paying they registered with us
Right, they got the
as their municipal service fee. And we get we get 98% of when there's a sale, we get a copy of the deed, or the transfer thing. And I told the person that does that, I said, you have to, when it comes in, it's not in a individual's name, it's in a LLC.
Yeah.
You gotta get that
That's
to
a red flag.
Trina so that she can then make sure they are licensed as a rental. And then we can we can ask the question, well, what kind of rental are you doing? And then we will have more of a heads up on it. That was just,
Well, it's obvious we're on a little bit of a learning curve, but let me do that. Let's get back as a staff, come up with a game plan to present to council, to see what you guys feel, get input from you all as well, and we'll go from there. But from this point forward, right now, those 3 zones are off limits for that type of business.
But generally, you don't have, the reason I say I don't think you have a problem, they're there, and you got probably lesser of a problem with those than you do regular rental.
I understand that, Steve, and I think you and I have had this discussion before as well, but I don't think that's how we can regulate it that way. Well, this is okay because this owner's actually doing it right, they're not causing a problem. We can't regulate it like that.
You're not,
And
you're not
you can't. We can't do that. We got to have a consistent, fair and consistent policy across the board as to how we're going to do it. And I'm the same way. I think that Adam mentioned a minute ago. I interpret the code to mean you can't do that in those particular zones. And I thought we had that discussion that's how we're going to handle it. If somebody wants to challenge us, okay, challenge us. Let's see what happens. See where it goes. But we'll meet. I'll have Melanie send out.
We had some draft legislation, and then I think, as Steve pointed out, we backed off based upon there wasn't really an issue or a problem that we needed to globally address. But if these are coming up again periodically, then we can certainly revisit. But we have a template we were working off of.
But would we not have some balance if we really want to have people coming to town and there's not a lot of hotel rooms? I mean,
Well, there's parts of the city where you can do that,
Okay.
just like any other business. It's just
there's about
That's why you have
5
zoning.
of them
downtown.
Yeah,
downtown.
I'm not against them at all.
It's not in the
But there are
neighborhood.
certain areas of the city that don't belong.
Besides the parties,
That's all. I'm
if they're
sorry.
listed on
Yeah,
there.
Adam, go ahead.
They're not a good one.
I mean,
I'm just
there are
saying.
ways you could finagle it, but that's probably a lawyer question.
Is finagle a lawyer term?
To make,
Yes, it is.
It's used frequently.
Well, this example you all gave is exactly why you don't want them in those zones. This is a group of people, not saying they're bad people, they're here, they're out on vacation, they're having
Yeah, they're
fun.
having a big time.
They're treated like a vacation in your neighborhood. So they're gonna come back after the trip, they're gonna go outside and have some beers and have a good time, have a party, but they're doing it in Thousand Oaks, for crying out loud.
Right.
You can't, that's just,
Right.
that's not acceptable. And that's what you open yourself up to if you start allowing those businesses in those subdivisions. That's what you open yourself up to. So I don't think we should do that. I think we need to protect the integrity of our neighborhoods.
Now, I will say this, that the state passed legislation that effective January 1, Airbnb and vacation by owner and all those other online things had to collect the 6% room tax on anything less than a 30-day rental. And we are getting, I mean, now they don't tell us the address, they just, we get it from whatever, but Airbnb submits a check, vacation by owner, or whatever those things are. So we're getting checks from them because they are required to put it on the bill, collect it, and remit it.
I will have Melanie facilitate a meeting with us, and we'll report back to council next meeting as to where we're at with it. But in the meantime, not in those zones. If I need to call Charles, I'll be happy to call
I
him.
can call him. I didn't understand that's how we were going to do it. I'll tell it. Not mess up.
I'd be happy to do the same. If you have any problems, let me know. I'll be happy to reach out to him. He cannot do it.
He's always cooperative.
Yeah, I think he is too. I think he is too.
It's a lot of, you have a lot of, you'll have control over a lot of that.
And again, we're going through a learning curve on this thing. It's been, but we have, like I say, we've discussed it, but we need to shore up some
Yeah,
things.
they'll show up where you don't know they're there.
Yeah,
They're kind of
absolutely.
stealthy, and if they all behave themselves, you
And
don't.
you don't, then you're not gonna know.
Yeah, okay.
But those organizations, those, VRBOs and Airbnb, they're pretty stringent.
they are.
Yes.
If they catch you not following their rules, they oust you in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, I don't think you want to put that burden or that potential nuisance into certain areas of your city. I just don't think you should do that. You're opening yourself up to issues in areas of your city where you don't expect that to happen.
Like the ridges. Yeah.
Well, yeah, there's, like I say, there's just.
They don't want to do that down there.
Martha Road would be a good place for it.
Okay, if council members are okay, we'll get back to you
Yeah,
next
let's
week
get
with a
back
game
to
plan.
And
Okay, is
they
that okay,
prob-
everybody?
And there probably are
Okay.
down there too.
Okay.
They won't be surprised.
Anybody got anything else? Yes, Councilman Sabol.
Since Adam wants to stir up trouble, I'm just gonna ask, this affects Chief Reinhardt,
Do anything over there.
Peanut, and Gerald. Are we gonna enforce the trailers and the boats and everything on the streets after
Oh,
November
Lord.
1st? I mean, Gerald's guys are gonna have trouble if we have to plow. Peanut's guys are gonna have trouble if they have to get placed. There's one up on North. There is a monster boat parked on North, sitting down there. I don't know, it's just appeared. It's right at Chris
Yeah.
Coleman's house. It's not his boat. His is under his cover.
They're not
But
pontoon
all of-
enough when they can't, there's no way you
But
can.
all-
do
That's,
that.
as far as I know, is when they call us about them, we enforce it, as far as I know.
Well, that's, I mean, I just wanted to.
But we gotta know about it. I
Yeah,
mean-
I didn't know if there was some way to get back to where, like when you go around Forest, there are several in Forest, and Forest is turning into, in my opinion, King Street as far as getting around the street. And, you're getting some of the stuff sticking out, and then you get utility trailers, and the guys say they're working out of them, and the utility trailer's 20 feet long and dual axle, and,
Well, the answer to your question is, if you report it to us and we know about it, we're going to enforce the law.
okay.
Yes, that's the answer to the
I
question.
just want to make sure we were still going with the November 1st.
Yeah, I don't think we ever have not,
Almost any.
unless we just weren't aware.
There's somebody in
One-ton truck.
Thousand Oaks who, every past 2 years, will send me an anonymous letter that says there are trailers on the street. Won't tell me where.
Yeah,
But
That's how it's went.
I'll have Stan, because he doesn't have high grass, just go through
Boats and trailers now.
neighborhoods and he can coordinate with
Yeah, okay,
the chief on
Okay.
where they are.
yes, we will,
Okay,
okay.
because I got the same thing Adam did. I got one guy that got busted out on his trailer, and now I think he's retired. He just drives around doing what Stan does. He tells me about all the trailers in my ward.
Payroll.
We have a lot of help sometimes.
Yeah,
They can't move them in their front yard though.
that's right.
No.
And they don't understand
That's not the
that
answer.
sometimes. They're
Yeah.
like, well, I'll just put it in my yard. And you're like, no.
No,
No.
can't do that either.
Yeah, we've been, if we know, we moved a huge, like a backhoe trailer off of Pence there. When you
Yeah.
texted me the other day, we already
Yeah.
had it in the works.
Oh, yeah, the
About
one on
that.
the, in the corner down on Penn Shadows.
Can you check on that one on Mountain Shadow for me? That one. Got 6 calls on that. Evidently, there's another house beside it that's trying to be remodeled, and they can't get by the guy's stuff to get the equipment in there to do it.
Okay.
You guys got that?
Mountain Shadow, you get as bad as Reimer going into other wards.
I just get calls. You don't tell people no. Don't call me. It's not my
They don't
area of
have council
responsibility.
over here.
You're like, okay.
Well, you bring your junior councilman with you.
I think Steve knows about the time.
There's a tank in Chimney Park.
Tank.
Well, it's
I would guess I know who did that, Steve, if there really was one.
tank.
It's a half track.
Okay.
Now, that's a new one. There's a tank.
Okay, we've been trumped at him, there's a tank.
They're that kind of night.
I have officially lost control of this.
It started at 6:30.
Second time.
For the second time, yeah.
She couldn't-
She did. So,
Who are you gonna escort out?
I don't know. I guess Adam started it.
All right.
Okay. Anyway, okay, anything else?
No, thanks
So-
for the great decoration.
Everybody, happy Thanksgiving. Don't forget, we are picking up garbage the day after Thanksgiving on Friday, so just remind everybody of that, so. Anything else, anybody? Please have
So
a
it
great
is
holiday.
Thursday and Friday's route if it's out.
Yes. We do the whole city curbside.
Old City.
Whole city
Biggest trash day of the
I'll make
year.
sure that
Friday.
Randy gets
Heavy snow eating.
Facebook.
Now, the
Okay.
tree lighting,
Tree lighting is
Second.
is Friday the 2nd, parade's on the 3rd. Okay?
be there at least.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Enjoy your families. Take care. Meeting adjourned.
Have a safe.
So.